Hey guys, I kind of got this idea recently to just do a top favorite guitar players list because I was kind of realizing that just how different my list is now than it would have been like 10 or 5 years ago. And I was going to do a top 10, but I realized 10 is a very hard number to whittle down to, so I have my top 20. I'm not going to show any songs in this video, but I will have the full list down below, and I'll have a link to a song or album from that person, or at least featuring that person in it, so that you can just quickly click to all those, because I don't want to get any copyright trouble with this video, and it's just a little easier, I guess. So number one, I don't know if I'd call him my favorite, but he's very, very high up there. His name is Nick Sampson. I know I've talked about him a bunch of times. He's in the band I'm Abomination, which I came across a couple years ago from this guy I used to hang out with. He just showed me the band, and immediately I'm just like, holy shit, like I never heard anything like this. It's mostly, I guess you could call it like progressive metal type stuff, but with like clean vocals. He is really the mastermind behind all the music of the band, especially their last couple albums since all the other band members left. And not only that, but he actually is the one that does all the production and mastering and everything else on their albums, which is really impressive. But anyway, his guitars are amazing, and even when he was like 17 or even younger, he was absolutely shredding, and that's what blew my mind the most. Because when I first heard about them, I think I was just out of high school. I think I was like 18 or 19, and I heard one of their songs, and when I found out he was like a year or two younger than me, I couldn't even believe it. But he's very, very good. So the song that I'm suggesting you check out from him is called One False Step, and I still remember hearing that guitar intro. The coolest guitar intro I think I've ever heard. It's so creative and so unique and just amazing. I love it. So definitely check that song out. Number two is another one just like Nick, where if he's not my favorite, he's definitely in the top 2 or 3, and that's Paul Gilbert. He has honestly been my top guitar player almost immediately since I heard him. I remember a couple years ago I decided that I wanted to do one of these like top guitar solo videos. This was for like one of my older accounts. I think it was like Little Red Guitars 1 or something. And I realized that I didn't know that many really good guitar players, so I was just kind of looking around for different songs by guitar players, and I'm like, okay, I remember the name Paul Gilbert, so I mean I'll just check him out. And the first song I listened to is actually the one I'm going to recommend, and it's called The Curse of Castle Dragon, and immediately just blew me away. It is seriously some of the greatest guitar work I've ever heard, and it's still my favorite song from him, easily. The whole song, the guitar is awesome, but the solo is so fast, and it's just insane. It's just amazing, and it's definitely one of the big reasons why I like instrumental music so much, because the things that he does with his guitar are just crazy, and he doesn't need a singer, that's for sure. So definitely check that song out if you like. He does a lot of different types of music. He'll do like bluesy stuff over like one side, then he'll do like really fast metal stuff like other times. I mean, he's got a very broad range, so if you're a fan of guitar at all, definitely check him out. Number 3 is another guy that I've talked about a lot. He is by no means a shredder or anything like that, but his name is Grant Henry, also known as Stemage of Metroid Metal. He's the creator and the main focus of Metroid Metal, and he's just very inspirational. I mean, his guitar tone is easily the best guitar tone I've ever heard, and it's really simple. He's been using like a Carvin guitar for the most part for years. He's been using the same small PV amp for years, but the things that he can do with his guitar and make it sound, and just it's just so creative, and it's just really, really cool. He comes up with a lot of really cool riffs and just like phrasings that I wouldn't really think of. He has a lot of chord progressions that really make me think a lot. They really inspire me to write like similar type of stuff. And I don't know, he's definitely the first type of guitar player that I've heard like him. I mean, when he showed me some of the bands that he gets into, I'm blanking on the names, but just some of the stuff that he kind of is inspired by, like, I was like, okay, yeah, I can definitely understand that this is where he's coming from. And it's just really creative. It's not something that you hear a lot of, and it's definitely something that I'd like to sound like if I was gonna make my own music and stuff like that again. So the song I'm gonna show you is actually a song that I covered a couple years ago, called Fat Man in the Pool, I think Fat Man in the Pool. And it's just a really cool short guitar driven song with just some really cool riffs in it, and I don't know, it's just awesome. So everybody's fucking texting me right now, Jesus Christ. Next song, or next artist is Mark Holcomb, I think that's how you say his name, from Periphery. He is just a really cool guitar player, and he comes up with some really cool riffs. And I don't really care for Periphery that much, but all the parts that he does instantly I just think are really cool. The one song that I'm gonna have you check out is called Pale Aura, and it's one of the newer songs that he pretty much wrote all of, because in their newer EP, each person was kind of assigned to one song, I guess, and that's the one that he did. I mean, he's done a lot of other songs that he's like the main focus on, but I mean, it's kind of hard to pick out exactly what playing is his, since there's 3 guitar players in the band. But any sort of guitar playing I see of him, I just think it's awesome, and he's definitely my favorite in that band, so definitely check him out. Number 5 is Alex Lifeson of Rush. He's definitely another one of those ones where I've just liked him for so long, and I know there's nothing that's going to change for me liking him so much. He was definitely one of the first guitar players I ever really started to look up to, and whether it was like in the early 70s or even today, he's still coming up with really cool guitar parts, and the guy is just a maniac. So the song I'm going to have you check out is actually a video that I've posted on Facebook probably a dozen times already. It's from, I think, 1979 or something. It was a year after they came out with a song called La Villa Strangiato, and it was right after he fucked up, I think it's this finger, which is a really important guitar finger, especially for a right-hander, and he is just going to town on his, I think it's a Gibson ES355, not 335, and it's just crazy because I know how much it hurts when you smash one of your fingers and you try playing with it, and it barely even phases him. So that's the song you're gonna have to check out. Number 6 is Jack O'Shea from Bayside. He's very creative, and he's definitely, I definitely think he's very different from like any other guitarist I've heard, and I love what he adds to Bayside, because Bayside by itself would be really cool if he wasn't in it, but the fact that he is in it and he adds like so many little leads and solos and stuff, it just sounds so much better. And just his whole just style is just really cool. I like it a lot, and it definitely influences my playing a lot. I definitely notice a lot of Bayside influence when I'm writing songs and leads and stuff like that. So definitely worth checking out. And the song I'm going to have you watch or listen to is called It's Not a Bad Little War. The leads, like, throughout the song, I mean, they're cool, definitely different, and I mean, I don't think they're his best, but the solo in it is really good, so I like that one a lot. Number 7 is kind of a tie. I mean, not really a tie, I guess, but it's Alan Day and Dan O'Connor from 4 Year Strong. I'm just linking them together because I just feel like together they're a lot better than if they were separate, and live especially, they feed off each other so well, and they mix together so well that it just sounds perfect. And at the same time, they're both singing at the same time, and it's really crazy. So, and I really like how they switch back and forth between leads and rhythms, which is really neat. And they write a lot of creative stuff that that I kind of model some of my stuff after sometimes, and I don't know. Their stuff is really fun to play, that's for sure. So they're not like virtuosos or anything, but they are really unique guitar players, I think, and I don't know, they're just really cool. So the song I'm going to show you is called It Must Suck to Be For You're Strong right about now. I think that's the full song. But the video is just them showing how to play their song, and it's just really cool watching them switch back and forth between leads and rhythms, so definitely check that out. Number 8 is Chris Cheney from The Living End. He's definitely been one of my favorite guitar players since the day I saw them live. They opened for Blink in like 2004, and before then I didn't know anything about them, and the next day I went out and got one of their CDs, and it's still my favorite CD from them, called Modern Artillery, and it's just a really good album. He does a lot of like rockabilly type stuff, but like a lot of rock and roll influence, and he's just really, really good. He plays a Gretsch 99% of the time. I've seen some videos where he's playing some other stuff, but he's just a very, very good guitar player, and whether he's doing just like really cool riffs or he's doing lead stuff, I mean, it's all so effortless to him, and it's really, really impressive. So the song I'm going to show you, some of you might know, it was actually on a Guitar Hero game. I think it was number 2 or something, so it got a little bit of fame from that. It's called Carry Me Home, and the whole song, the guitar is just really, really good, and really a really strong like lead riff that's kind of going through like the whole song. It's easily one of the best riffs he's written, and definitely not much like rockabilly influence on that song, or not even really that whole album, but it's a really good just like rock song, so that's a very good one. Number 9 is Matt Bellamy of Muse, and while I don't think he's some amazing guitar player, he really does come up with some really cool riffs, and his guitar tone is very, very, very good. I love his guitar tone. I love the tracks that he's doing like some really, really fuzzy stuff on, because sometimes he even has Fuzz Factory from like Z-Vex, I think it's called, wired into his guitar, so all he has to do is flip a switch and mess with the knob, and he can just go to town on the damn thing instead of using like a pedal or something, which is really cool. He writes a lot of really cool heavy riffs, which I like. They do a lot of cool stuff in between songs live, just kind of like heavy breakdown type stuff that just kind of leads into other songs that are always really cool. And that's about it. So I was actually going to suggest one song, but I'm deciding right now to change that. The song I'm going to have you check out is called Blackout, and the first half of the song doesn't really have much guitar in it, but the second half is where I'm talking about, with that fuzz type of sound. And it's so big. It's just such a huge guitar sound, and it's just really, really cool, and I like it a lot. So hopefully you'd like it. So that's number 9. Number 10 is Russ, Parish. He's better well known as Satchel from Steel Panther. As much as they joke around, if you know Steel Panther at all, as much as they joke around and have extremely vulgar lyrics and everything like that, it doesn't take away from the fact that he is an incredible guitar player. And if he was around in the 80s, because I say that because they're like a very big 80s influence band, I feel like people would be saying like Eddie Van Halen who and Slash who, because Russ is insanely good. I don't think he's ever hit a wrong note in his freaking life, because the guy is a maniac. So the song I'm going to have you check out, I had a hard time picking out a song because all of their songs have really cool just heavy riffs but have really cool leads in it. So I mean, it's pretty much a toss-up for any of their songs. They're all pretty much good for guitar-wise. But the song I'm going to have you check out is called Turn Out the Lights. I really like the beginning with the harmonics and just the leads, and just the whole song is just really, really good. So definitely very like 80s metal, like hair metal influence. So if you like that, I think you'd like this too. Number 11 is a guitar player named Lulis. He was definitely one of the first influences of mine. He was in a band called Gravedigger. I know he went on to other bands called Rebellion and maybe even other bands after that. But when I was younger, I listened to mostly metal just because of my dad, and Gravedigger was a huge influence on me. And just his guitar playing, I feel like a lot of his techniques and style is still a lot of how I approach things, just with like the types of riffs and the types of leads that I tend to gravitate to, I guess. I always notice sounds a lot like his stuff, and I don't know, he's just got a lot of really good guitar riffs in a lot of their songs. Like I said, he's not in the band anymore. He was pretty much through like the whole 90s. And those are easily my favorite albums of theirs. So the song I'm going to have you listen to is called Circle of Witches. Definitely like a very like heavy, not necessarily speed metal, but I know a lot of people consider them speed metal. But the guitars are really good in it. I always liked his guitar tone for metal stuff, though it's kind of an acquired taste, I guess. I mean, I feel like some people wouldn't really like it, but the guitar solo in this song is really cool. He does a lot with the whammy bar that I like. And he just does a really good job making his guitar sing a lot, which is really cool. So that's number 11. Number 12 is, it's another toss-up for me. I'm putting that in between Pliny, which I know a lot of people have been suggesting to me lately, but it's not like I haven't heard him before. And Sithu I think that's how you pronounce his name. But anyway, I mean, I haven't been listening to either of them for that long, but I really, really like their technique. I really like their approach to songs, and all the songs that I've heard of them are really, really cool. So, like I said, I have been listening to them too long, so I'm just going to show you or link you an EP that both of them are on. It's kind of just like an EP split. Each one of them does 2 songs, and they're each on one of the other person's songs at least once or twice in the album or something. But they're both really, really good, so definitely worth checking out. Number 13 is a guitarist from the band Protest the Hero, and his name is Luke, what the hell was that? Hoskin, that was his last name. Another one I don't know a lot about, but the more I've been listening to them, the more the guitars are just blowing me away. And the song I'm going to have you check out is called Mist. And all the lead work that I've seen him do, I'm pretty sure he does all the leads. I'm not entirely sure if the other guy, I think his name's Tim, I don't know if he does any leads too, but Luke is very, very good, and especially on that new album, the guitars are just insane. So I really get into like heavy and fast and technical guitars like that, as long as the vocals aren't really dirty, or you know what I mean. So I definitely prefer like cleaner vocals, which is cool with Protest the Hero because he pretty much does cleaner vocals. But anyway, the guitar player is very, very good, so check out Mist for sure. Number 14 is Justin Shakosky from Saosin. Ever since I heard Saosin, from back in like the mid to late 2000s, I've been a big fan of the guitar player Justin. I'm pretty sure he does all the leads. I'm not sure if he does all of them, but he just has a lot of really creative riffs, just like a lot of the other guys in the list I've shown so far. But especially that first self-titled album, there's just so many really cool riffs in it, and just a lot of creativeness in it that I really like. The song I'm going to have you listen to is called It's Far Better to Learn, and I always absolutely loved the intro, which is just like it's mildly distorted guitar with some delay, and it's just a really, really cool part that I've always really liked. But any of his songs have a lot of really cool stuff in it, like They Perched on Their Stilts and whatever the rest of the title is, and a few others. I mean, if you're a fan of Saosin at all, I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you've never heard of him, I'd definitely check him out. Number 15 is Olaf Mork. I think that's how you say his name. I think he's Swedish. But he's from the band Dragonland, and he's the lead guitar player of that band. And he just has such a dark guitar sound that's just super evil sounding that I just always really liked, especially on the newer album. And the song I'm going to have you listen to is called The Black Mare. The leads in it are really good. The rhythms are really, really good too. I like how he does a lot of like switching back and forth between his triplets and stuff in there. And just the whole song is just really good for guitar. So if you like metal, and I guess you consider it power metal, I would definitely check that out. And actually the next couple guitar players are pretty much all metal guitar players. So yeah, check out The Black Mare from Dragonland. Very good guitars in that one. Number 16 is a guitarist from the band Accept, and his name is Wolf Hoffman. He's another one that influenced me very, very early on. Like, it's before I even started playing guitar, I was really, really into his guitar playing style, and he's very good. The song I'm gonna have you check out is called Fast as a Shark, and it's another power metal song, I guess you could say, maybe speed metal. Very melodic and very powerful. It's just a really good guitar song for sure. It's definitely one of their better guitar songs. Number 17 is Stefan Elmgren, and he's from the band Hammerfall, or he was in the band Hammerfall. He's been in some other bands after Hammerfall, and I was actually pretty sad when he left Hammerfall, but what are you gonna do? The song I'm gonna have you listen to isn't actually really a song. It was one of his live guitar solos, and I must have watched that video 200 times when I was in high school, and even after high school, I watch that video every now and then, and it's just really, really cool. He's got some really great melodic playing and just a lot of really good heavy riffs, but I mean, you don't really hear that much in this guitar solo. It's mostly just lead melodic stuff, but it's really cool, and he's just a very good guitar player, and he'll always be one of my favorites for sure, so definitely check that one out. Number 18 is another duo from the band Arm Cannon. They are more or less a video game metal band. They do a lot of video game remixes, but they've done some other remixes that aren't necessarily from video games. Like, they've done some Star Trek stuff, some Star Wars, Thundercats theme. I think they did Power Rangers. But they're two very different guitar players that they mix together so well. Dan, actually I don't know, no, I don't think I said their names. Their name are Dan Behrens and Mike Willard. Dan is a lefty, plays a 6-string Carvin, and Mike plays a 7-string, I want to say Schecter. I don't know entirely. I don't remember exactly what kind of guitar he plays, but they're both very, very different types of players too, but it just works. So if you listen to the song that I'm going to suggest, you'll definitely hear that. The name of the song is Hi, I'm Mark Spandrel. They always have weird names for their songs, but it's a Spark Mandrill and Spark Man, both from Mega Man, guitar remix cover, which is it's easily one of my favorite songs that came out in the last couple of years. So definitely listen to that and try and hear just like the different styles like kind of mixing together. They're really good. So there you go. Number 19. I want to know how to say his last name. I'm not entirely sure. It's either his name is Eric and his last name is either Peabody or Peabody. I don't know. Some people say it different, but he's more well known on YouTube and other websites as Viking Guitar. And just like Stemage, Grant Henry, and the last guys from Arm Cannon. He does a lot of video game remixes and some other types of remix and stuff, mostly in rock and metal. And he recently actually came out with an album called Viking Guitar Live, which actually does have Stemage in it, which is really cool. But one of the songs on that was a Super Metroid cover called Earthroot, and the guitars are just awesome on it. The production is really well done, and overall the song, if you like Super Metroid, the song is really, really good. So definitely worth checking out. He does a lot of stuff on YouTube with like tutorials and different lessons and stuff like that, which is really cool. I definitely like watching his stuff. I've watched it for at least a year, maybe longer. So definitely a big fan of his. And number 20, the final one, is Nick Johnston. He's one I think I just found through YouTube. I'm not sure. I don't know if I found him maybe through Travis Orban or something, because I know he did some of his stuff. But it just makes me want to play a Strat really, really bad, like a typical Strat with like 3 single coils, because the sound that he gets out of that is just incredible. Same thing with See-Through Eye. Very, very distinct Strat type sound that it just works. It's just so good, and like I said, it really makes me want to get just like a standard Strat and put like some hotter pickups in it, still single coils, and just jam on that. I don't know, it just sounds awesome. And it's usually not something I really go for, but when I hear him, Nick, or See-Through or whoever playing like a really overdriven Strat, like lately, it's just something I really, really like. So the song I'm going to have you listen to from him is called In a Locked Room on the Moon, which is the title track from his last album. And the guitars in it are just great. It's actually just a playthrough of him playing it. I actually have it pulled up right here. But he's a very, very good guitar player, and I could watch him play all day. The guy is an animal. And of course, he's using an Inca Silver Strat, which I love. It's definitely one of the main reasons why I want an Inca Silver Strat. It's definitely my favorite color for a guitar. But anyway, like I said, he's very, very good, and I feel like anyone could really get into his style, personally. I don't think he has any vocals on any of his songs. Maybe he does. I haven't really dived into like much of his songs. I mostly just watch him on YouTube for whatever he uploads. But anyway, that's the whole song, or that's the whole list. I mean, there were others that I could have added that I thought about, but I felt like leaving out, like Tom DeLonge. I mean, he is really the main reason why I started playing guitar, especially around like 99, 2001, around that era, even 2003. He wrote just such catchy riffs that made me want to pick up a guitar and try to learn them and write similar stuff. I mean, I can't say that he wasn't an influence on me, but let's face it, he's not anywhere in the ballpark of these guitar players. So, and there are others. I mean, like I said, it was hard to whittle it down. So, let me know what you think of the list. Let me know if I got you to actually get into some new music. I mean, I'm always curious to see if I am the reason why you started liking a certain band or stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool getting people into new types of music. So let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.